And the first question from our university will can you tell something about yourself and your work?
Yes. So my name is Sanna Hukkanen and I'm an artist. By profession I studied fine arts in my hometown Joensuu, and now I've been working as a comics artist for quite a long time already. And Joensuu is in Finnish Karelia, so we have kind of cultural connections to the Karelian Republic, and the language also is a little bit similar. And I work as an artist. I make like my own books, comic albums, and I do illustrations for different publications. I've had my comics in different anthologies and newspapers, some magazines, and I work as well as a teacher in these projects where comics are used in different purposes.
Yes, it's cool. Tell our watchers something about advantages of comics as a communication tool, please.
Yes, so I've been using comics with different groups, like minority groups, for quite many years now, something like 15 years. And comics, I felt like it's a very good tool for communication, especially for NGOs and groups of people who wouldn't have like very much funding, for example, for their campaigns, because it doesn't cost like anything to make comics. It's easy to learn. You basically need only paper and pen to make comics, and you can learn it in a couple of hours. Even if you've never been drawing before, it's still quite easy. And also comics are the sort of media that is interesting for different target groups, like young people like comics, children like comics, old people like comics, and sorry. I think it's the picture that makes it attractive. So it's like a powerful tool. You can also put lots of information in the pictures that you couldn't do with text only.
And with whom you make workshops?
Lots of different groups. I started in Tanzania with disabled people's groups. I had workshops there in 2010, I think, with a group of deaf people, and then another group of physically disabled people, and an albino group, and then we had a group with like families and friends of people who had mental disabilities, and also there are some people in the group who had these, and those were really good workshops because they felt like it's a really good tool for them, especially the deaf, because they don't have like communication with the rest of the society. They speak sign language and nobody else basically knows it. So they felt like drawing their feelings and all the things that they are struggling with was a really good way to communicate with the people around. And then I've had workshops in Finland with immigrants, asylum seekers, and the aim of these workshops has been to basically reduce prejudice and racism by telling the stories of these people to the Finnish audience, so that they would better understand where these people come from and why they come to Finland. We had a project with WORLD COMICS FINLAND, and the organization I've been working with for a long time. It was called Illustrating Me. You can find it in the internet. We also had lots of exhibitions after that in Finland, and we had workshops in reception centers for asylum seekers, so we were drawing with them. And then I've been working with language minorities, Finno-Ugric language minorities in Russia and in Finland and Estonia and Norway, like Karelian, Udmurt, Mari. There are lots of these small language groups in Russia as well, and they've been using comics as a tool of preserving and revitalizing their language, and it seems to be very good for that purpose too, because you can show lots of cultural information in the drawings, and then you can put language in the text of the comics. So you can also use comics for teaching the language for children, because often the problem of these endangered languages is that they don't go to the next generation. Children don't speak them.
Okay, it's a really great work, I think. The next question is how you started these works. How can you how you started?
How I became an artist, or how I started this?
Yeah.
Well, I can talk about both. When I was young, like a teenager, I was very active in my hometown in different like citizens movements, I could say. A few NGOs also, like against racism and for environmental issues, for example. And then at the same time I had always felt like I want to be an artist. That was the only option. I couldn't like see any other other things that I would like to do. So comics were kind of a good way of combining these two, that I could express myself through art, so that I could give these pass my point of view to the readers. And it's the same thing about these workshops, basically, that I want to give a media to people who have something to say, something important to say.
Okay. What is the most difficult in your work?
Well, for example, time management is quite difficult, because it's difficult to... It's not that easy for an artist to find income, for example, so then I might have to accept many projects at the same time. So then how to kind of make it possible that I can do all these things that I've chosen to do is a challenge.
Now the most difficult is find people, for example. I don't know.
No, it's been quite easy to find people for these workshops. We, for example, in this Finno-Ugric minority language project, we might go to one place, for example, in Mariel, and then they have a contact somewhere else, let's say in Hantimansia, and this is how we find the connections. But basically people have been really receiving the workshops really well, and they wanted to come into them. The participants are people who work with the language, like journalists or teachers or cultural workers. So they have found it useful for them in their work.
Okay. Sorry. And in which countries you made workshops?
Well, until now I've been working in... I started in Tanzania. I lived there for 5 years. And then in Finland, Russia, Estonia and Norway.
Okay, and the last question was what feedback you had from your work?
From the workshops.
Yes.
I have usually had a very positive feedback. Well, now the most recent project has been this Finno-Ugric project, so maybe I can talk about that. Lots of these groups that we were working with have been publishing the comics that they made in the workshops in like local newspapers. Sometimes they are in Russian, sometimes in their own language. And there are many groups who have started organizing their own workshops, so they've been teaching children, for example, or youth how to draw comics, or like our participants were always grown up, so also they've had some workshops for adults. and people have organized exhibitions all around Russia of these comics. So I feel like it's been really well received. But then of course it's difficult to tell what is really the importance of it. I think the comics could be used more widely. I would like these people to use them in schools, for example, or in daycares. So we still have lots of work to do to kind of make it work in that level.
And question from me, from me, was have you got any positive and negative feedbacks sometimes, maybe?
No, I don't recall getting negative feedback at the moment.
It's cool.
Maybe sometimes I felt like some workshop wasn't as good as I expected, or the wrong target groups as participants. Like sometimes we had workshops in places where we were hoping to get language activists to the workshop, but then the participants were some other people who didn't have any connection to the language. So then I felt like we had somehow failed, but then they anyway felt like they got something out of it.
That's all. Thank you. Really, thank you for your work and for the interview.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice to come here.
My English